everybody. Thank you, Seth. Hello, everyone. We are here with, I think, now the sixth game in the JDRF charity streams for benefiting JDRF as part of my birthday bash streams. Hi, I am Mare, and I am playing this time. And for these lovely people, if you saw our Secrets Beyond the Suns game, these are my players, and I love them so much, and I have missed them so much. So before we get into the game, I'm actually going to ask everyone go around first, say hi, who they are, and then I will talk about our incentives for the game and so on and so forth. Hi, I'm Mare. I use they, she pronouns, and I am the facilitator of the game. Let's start with Abby.
Hi, I'm Abby, and it's weird to not have a character to introduce because this is all improv, so I'm Abby.
Caitlin.
Hello, I'm Caitlin. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm happy to be here.
Gonah.
Hi, I'm Gonah Hawking, and I use she, her pronouns primarily. And I'm very excited for this.
Sarah.
I am Sarah, she, her, and I am also very excited to play for the Queen for the first time. This is going to be great.
And last but not least, Seth.
Hi, I'm Seth. I also use they, she pronouns, and I will be playing myself, I guess, and or something that I make up on the spot, which I'm very excited about. I cannot overstate how excited I am to be on the screen with these specific people again.
I've missed all of you. So as a couple of the players have already mentioned, this game is a completely improv game called For the Queen by Evil Hat Productions. So basically the TLDR of everything is I'm going to go around and ask people questions. I will read the full game rules. It's going to be super quick right as we start, but there's going to be two games. We're going to have one in the first half. We're going to take a break, and then we're going to do a second half with a whole new queen that we draw inspiration from and go from there. For this game, we have a couple incentives. If you put exclamation point in chat, which someone already did, you can see our incentives for $15. You can choose a player, and next time their turn comes around, I get to ask them a spicy question from the spicy deck. Or for $20, you can choose a player, and they will have the option to ask another player their own question, which is not in the deck of questions. And then another miscellaneous one, if you're feeling super generous and want to play a game with me, I will facilitate a game for you and up to 4 of your friends for the Queen at a date that works for all of us. So, are we all ready to get started? Am I missing anything?
My Zoom froze.
You look good
which
on
is
our
a thing.
end.
That's really weird, so that's fine.
Okay, I will cross my fingers and hope that everything goes okay.
Okay.
Okay, in that case, I will start reading the game rules and we will begin our game of For the Queen. As soon as my screen stops being a butt. All right. So, go around the table clockwise, taking turns reading each of the cards aloud. The land you live in has been at war for as long as any of you have been alive. The Queen has decided to undertake a long and perilous journey to broker an alliance with a distant power. The Queen has chosen all of you and no one else to be her retinue and accompany her on this journey. She chose you because she knows that you love her. You are welcome to look through the Queen cards for inspiration. If there is one that seems right for the group, place it on the table to inspire your story. I have already chosen the Queen for the first game. However, whenever you donate, you will be able to put your money towards a poll to choose the Queen for the second half, based off a handful of adjectives that I've put down for everyone. So please, if you want to help influence the second half, please do so. At some point during the game, a hint right before break for us, I will pull a card called The Queen is Under Attack and Do You Defend Her? And you will tell me, based off what we have learned for building this game, whether you defend the Queen or not. Going through a couple of these. So I'm going to go around the entire table and you will answer questions in turn. If you do not want to answer the question, you can give the prompt that was set to you to the next player and say, I'd like to hear you answer this question. And this can happen as long as until someone X's it. And we will go like this.
A
Go ahead.
question
Sure.
about that.
Yes.
In passing, Is it just that we would pass it to the next person, or do we get to pick who answers it?
I'm going to do it based off of the next person in line. I'm
Cool.
going to go based off the overlay in the order of how we do things. So I'm going to start with Abby, to Caitlin, to Gonah, to Sarah, and then to Seth. And that'll be the order. Are we ready to see our queen? All right. For everyone in chat, here is our queen. Let us begin. Abby. The queen is not your queen. Why do you serve her anyway?
Oh, wow. Starting with a hard one.
I know.
Okay, cool. She is not my queen in the sense that I started working under the previous queen. And even though she is currently my queen, that's not who I think of with the capital Q in my head.
Caitlin. What do you usually do for the royal family? Why does that make you an unlikely choice for this journey?
We'll go with I usually spend most of my time as a governess for the royal children, but the royal children did not come on this trip.
Beautiful. I wonder if there is another reason why she invited you.
I'm sure there is.
Gonah. What did you bring with you to protect the queen?
Underneath my skirt, I am easily able to take out two very long blades that are curved and have initials upon them.
I wonder what those initials are. Maybe with another question we can figure it out. Sarah, we got a donation from Seth to ask you a question. So Seth, a question for Sarah.
Everybody knows that you undermine the queen every chance you get. Why are you here?
You're muted.
I've never thought she was worthy of her station. I don't care about blood or birthright. I care about what you do. This is her last chance to show me she does it well.
Some conflict already in the royal retinue. Seth, why are some of the others at the royal court jealous of your relationship with the queen?
Well, she and I have built a rapport over the years. I tend to be the first person that she comes to with any kind of conflict, and it's turned personal. So even if it is not to do with royal affairs or politics, sometimes she'll ask me for advice, and sometimes that advice has negative effects on other members of the court.
So it seems like you actually have a friendship with our queen.
I would be honored to say yes.
Abby, when was the last time the queen showed you real kindness?
Real kindness. I think it was forgiving a public mistake that I made in court.
Caitlin, you think of someone in this retinue is the queen's favorite. Who and what makes you think this?
That was for me, right?
That was for you.
Okay. Seth, because even though they think that it's all very subtle, we all know who the queen prefers most.
I'm wondering if you're one of these people who are jealous of the relationship Seth has with the queen.
Don't know, maybe.
Gonah. There is a part of you that does not want peace in this land. Why are you attached to the war?
Because I'm very much a protector. I'm very well aware that to put away my blades is to put away a part of me that is useful. And I fear that not having to have that protection could put me out of favor with the queen.
So the war is a necessity to you feeling useful. Sarah. You are considered ugly by almost everyone you meet. How does the queen make you question that perception?
People think that my attitude is what's ugly, or the words I say, or the way that I carry myself. But the queen, she knows how to put me to good use. And it's when I'm useful that I feel worthy or beautiful.
Seth. The queen gave you a compliment once. What was it, and why have her words stayed with you?
There was a moment when in open court, probably not her best judgment moment, but it happened nonetheless, where she put her hand on my arm and she said, "Oh, you always know what to say." And as court astrologer, I found that to be very reassuring that the work that I do is impactful in a way that may influence not just my ego, but other nations.
Abby. What is something you do for the royal family that has prepared you well for this journey?
I am the court historian. I have been here longer than anyone else. I've seen past wars and how they were resolved. And so I can give good advice based on the past.
So you, of all people in this group, probably know who we are heading towards and the history and the whys and the hows. Caitlin. The queen thinks more highly of you than you do yourself. How do you know this?
I would say I know this because I'm not really sure what I can contribute to this trip, and yet she was very insistent that I join. So she must have some idea of a way in which I can be useful that I haven't figured out yet.
Maybe she knows something more about you than you know about yourself.
Maybe.
Secrets? Gonah. What makes the queen beautiful in your eyes?
I have always very much been attracted to her ability to waylay the correct people and talk to those in court the right way. I know that I'm not very good at using words and being able to appease those of the court. So the fact that she's able to do it daily is astounding.
One of the many skills and qualities necessary for a queen. Whether she is a good queen, we're still determining, but a good for a queen to have nonetheless. Sarah, you suspect this journey is not about diplomatic negotiations. What else do you believe is going on, and why?
I've killed for the queen before, and I killed for the previous queen, and I killed for the one before them too. I think I'm here for a reason. And even though I don't know the details yet, I think diplomacy is a farce.
The queen and the queen before and the queen must very much value your skills. Okay. Seth, what do you do to disappoint the queen on this journey?
I think there's a moment in which she asks me for advice and I'm unable to give it to her. Perhaps the stars are giving me an unfavorable outcome that I think is better left unshared.
Oof. Abby, why do you think the queen trusts you enough to bring you on this journey as court historian?
Because I don't always tell her what she wants to hear. And sometimes that disagreement leads to trust between us.
And we have gotten our first spicy question.
Spicy.
For Caitlin.
Ooh. Thank you, spicy question, friend.
When did you know you were in love with the queen?
Oh,
Going hard, going fast.
I think it was fairly recent. I think we had a moment where like I tend to be in the background most of the time during court. I'm chasing after the kids. I'm making sure that they're sitting quietly and all that kind of stuff. And then there was a moment where she had me kind of hold back after a court session and just asked how things were going, asked how their studies were, and just we had a really nice simple conversation, and things grew from there.
The queen loves her children and apparently more.
muted?
Oh, that was
Yeah, I
just
couldn't
me
hear
being
that
very
now.
quiet. I was saying the queen loves her children and apparently more than just her children. Gonah, what brings out the queen's kindness?
Very often, part of knowing how to use words well is knowing when to impart those kindnesses. And more often than not, the people who need those kindnesses are those that are not doing well or not having a good day. And she tends to see those that have a moment of weakness or have a stumble, and she will reach out in kindness to those people.
Sarah, what makes the queen ugly in your eyes?
She wastes so much time on frivolous things like talking to people who aren't a part of the important machinations of the court or on parties that are just falderall. And it stubs the people that she's supposed to love.
You would think that someone as old as her would be using her time more wisely. And we have a special guest, Finn, who is going to get the next question.
He's ready.
He's ready? Okay, Finn, for the queen. What do you do for the queen that no one else can do? Is it just endless love?
Yes, he's very good at inserting himself into meetings and bringing toe beans for everyone.
Oh, look at those toe beans. But yes, Seth, what do you do for the queen that no one else can do?
I read the stars. I tell her future. Nobody else knows the whims of the gods but me.
I wonder if they've been accurate.
She keeps me around.
She does. Remember, we have spicy questions. And you can have other people answer questions from other players. Abby. You have a personal connection to the land you are currently traveling through. What makes you want to stay, and why don't you?
I would love to hear Caitlin answer this.
I think I want Gonah to answer this.
So as someone who has seen battle and who has fought many times, as much as I respect and fear and love the queen, I don't think that in the end we are going to win this war. I think that there is too much infighting in our court. I think that the way that things have been handled, this is not going to end well. And so a part of me wants to just stay on the winning side for once. But ultimately, I will stay loyal to the queen, and I will fight with the very last breath that I have.
Loyalty is a very, very strong thing. Very valuable. Especially someone as strong and skilled as yourself. So we're going to circle back to Abby. How does the queen remind you of her status while on the journey?
Her status. It would be very easy for her to travel in a different style than us, a finer carriage, other servants to wait on her, but she doesn't. In a way that's very obvious. We know that she is foregoing certain niceties, like for her own travel, to say I'm strong enough to travel like a commoner.
Wow. So you all are probably not drawing as much attention as you usually would if you were in this fine carriage with servants taking care of all of you at their beck and call. Caitlin. Oh, babysitter Caitlin for the queen.
Governess?
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 Governess? You saved the queen's life once. How?
Oh, Well, so I was in. It was indirect. I was out in the gardens with the children, and or maybe grandchildren. I don't know. She's could be both. And I noticed someone about that didn't look familiar to me and looked a little out of place. And excuse me, and alerted one of the guards that was around, and the person turned out to have nefarious intent on the queen.
With your skilled and observant eyes keeping track of little ones, it does not surprise me that you were able to notice something out of place.
Our conversations started shortly thereafter.
Since Gonah had that question pushed off to her, I'm going to go to Sarah. What part of this journey will be the most difficult? How do you pull the rest of the retinue through it?
Within the castle, I have a vast number of resources available, a enormous garden with all kinds of plants and a bunch of critters that might make some people a bit unsettled, but are very important in my line of work. Not having access to the things I need to do my job and, well, my other job is tough. But I have an eye for finding flowers and beauty and other pretty things out in the world as we walk. It's common for people to open up their pack and find a lily or find a flower that they might find particularly beautiful. And I'm good at pulling together things that might give people a little bit more get up and go in the morning.
How sweet. Seth. The queen trusts you, but no one else in the royal court does. Why?
Well, mainly it has to do with the nature of our relationship and our closeness. I think it has to do with jealousy personally, but others may say that it has to do that with the fact that my predictions are futile in some instances, but such is the will of the gods.
Okay. So, the next question is a player question from Gonah to Abby. You said player question. Do you want it to be a spicy question, Gonah?
Yeah, that was
Okay.
what I meant.
All right. So I'm gonna pull from the spicy
Sorry,
deck.
I'm embodying the himbo
It's
too hard.
okay. It's fine. Abby, spicy question for you.
Spicy. Oh gosh.
The queen lights a fire in you. What is it?
That thirst for knowledge. We both share that need to know as much information as we can and to get it by any means necessary.
Caitlin. Who is this distant power you are traveling to, and why do they make you uneasy?
We are traveling to a former ally that we are hoping will be willing to provide assistance again in our efforts. It makes me uneasy because I am unsure what they will ask of the queen in return for that assistance.
You said they were former ally?
Mm-hmm.
Do you mind if I ask a follow-up question on why
Sure.
they are no longer your allies?
there hasn't been a need for them in the recent past, and there was an attempt to make the nation more self-sufficient and to rely less on outside powers. So this is a bit of a going back, tail between the legs situation to see if they will assist us once more.
Oof. The queen is humbling herself in this this trek to these other powers. Gonah, you are considered beautiful by almost everyone you meet. How does the queen make you question that perception?
The queen. So earlier, I'd mentioned the fact that she shows kindness whenever there are trips, mishaps, etc. And while everyone else will say that I'm beautiful, she will always comment on my strength and how powerful I am, and in some ways how masculine of a trait I seem to have. And while it shouldn't make me feel ugly, it does make me feel less, as though that is all that I am.
Double-edged sword of a compliment. Sarah, when was the last time the queen hurt you?
I pride myself on doing whatever is asked of me and whatever is necessary. So when the queen came to me with, whether because she doesn't understand how my potions work, or how the nature of growing things, how the cycles work, she asked for something I could not give her because it was impossible. But I wanted so badly to give it to her. I did not. I didn't explain to her that it wasn't a thing I could do. Instead, I went to my lab and I tried to make it happen. I hate that feeling.
I wonder what it was that you could not give her, your queen. Seth, the queen sometimes shows interest in your personal life. How do you respond to that, and why?
Oh, I think we have heard enough about my and the queen, our relationship. I would like to hear this question answered by dear Abby.
Could you repeat it again?
Sure. The queen sometimes shows interest in your personal life. How do you respond to that, and why?
I have no personal life. My work is my life, and I don't do anything outside of court business, so there's nothing to tell.
How do you respond to that when she does try to show interest in your quote-unquote personal life?
I turn it back to work matters. There's so much to talk about anyway. History is vast, and it's easy to steer her to another topic that we both enjoy.
If she notices that you are changing topics on her, she definitely doesn't comment on it. And yet she continues to persist sometimes. Back to Seth. Because you didn't answer the last question. So.
And Finn.
And Finn. I already know this answer for Finn, but you sometimes think you might be the queen's favorite. Why? And why does this worry you?
Well, to be perfectly honest, if you were to ask anybody else, they would answer with no uncertainty that I am the queen's favorite. Sometimes it does dawn upon me that I may be shown extra favor, but it's I like to think that it has more to do with what I offer her. What was the second part of the question? I'm sorry.
And why does this worry you?
Yes. It becomes worrisome because it makes my job harder to do. It becomes very difficult to give her answers to questions that have a negative outcome or that may give her whatever outcome that is besides what she's expecting sometimes. Sometimes if it is simply a bad day, I have to tiptoe around bad news.
And that is always frustrating when it feels like you're walking on eggshells around someone you respect, especially. Skipping Abby and going back to Caitlin. What brings out the Queen's cruelty?
The Queen can sometimes focus more on the newest, shiniest thing in front of her. So whoever has favor at that moment has favor at that moment. And it goes back and forth, but it does mean that, one day you are the favorite and the next day suddenly you're not.
I wonder if Seth's time is going to run out soon when she's no longer the favorite. Gonah. What promise did the Queen make to you before this journey? Do you think she'll keep it?
Before we started this journey, she offered me leave, essentially. She offered me a place that I would not have to deal with the court. I would not have to fight. I would not have to be part of all of this anymore. But that I would have to protect her to the end in order to be able to collect that particular debt. And I think she'll keep it. I do think that she will keep her word and she'll let me just wander off into the woods, as it were. And I don't know if I want her to keep it, but it does sound nice.
I feel like this is like a lose-lose-lose situation for you. If the war ends, you don't have a job. If she dies, you don't have a job and you feel useless. If the war goes according to how it ends, when she lives, she gives you leave and you're still out of a job and you don't have to protect her anymore. So I don't see how any of this benefits you. This is very unfortunate. Sarah, the Queen had you punished once. What about the memory of that will stay with you forever?
The Queen, I mean, how could she not? Knows the nature of, well, not all of my experiments, but enough of them to have caused me some problems, let's call them, well, I wish it had been longer ago because it wouldn't sting quite as much as it does now, but she had a part of my lab destroyed, some of my samples confiscated, taken from me. I will never get some of those back. But I will also never blame that on some of my later failures.
Vindictive. Going so far to destroy a loyal subject's work that helps her. So I think I put away too many spicy questions. So what we're going to do is we're going to move on to the spicy deck. And anything that gets donated will automatically get pushed up to, hey, you can ask someone else a question in the meantime. Because we're moving through these much quicker than I thought we were going to. And I blanked on what I was going to say, but we're going to go from there. This is Seth. There's someone else in this retinue that you love besides the queen. How and why are you keeping it a secret?
Well, I think it's an unresolved slash what's the word I'm looking for? Unrequited situation. I think maybe she doesn't even know that I feel this way about her, but I do have feelings for it's not just one person. But it is the enforcer and the court poisoner who I have developed feelings for. And of course, I do not let anybody know, because if the queen were to find out, she would think that my loyalties were in question.
Beautiful. That's very spicy. I'm wondering if something will come up that will make these emotions and feelings known. Also, because I keep forgetting, when we hit $1,200, the next giveaway happens, and that will be 5 custom emotes from Gonah. Abby.
Oh no, that's never good to see from your GM. No. God.
You arranged for the queen to be ambushed on the journey. What did they offer you?
I did it. Oh my God. Okay.
Did it?
What did they offer me? Gosh, it'd have to be a lot. They offered me enough resources that I could continue my work that I love without being tied to a monarch. Freedom, essentially.
Did you already feel trapped, where you felt like freedom was necessary?
I hadn't really considered the option until it was offered to me. But once they mentioned it was possible for me to continue my life outside of court, I leapt at it.
Caitlin, you were summoned to a private meeting with the queen once. Why did you feel disappointed afterwards?
I thought perhaps that it was going to be romantic in nature, given that we hadn't spent a lot of time together since starting this journey. And she was spending a lot of time with her astrologer instead. But it was more of a business meeting than anything else. And I left disappointed.
Business meeting as in how her children or her grandchildren were to be taken care of, and what would need to be met while you were both away?
Essentially, yeah, it was checking in on what preparations had been made in our absence, what curriculum they would be tackling while we were gone.
Gonah, what do you do that pleases the queen on this journey?
One night, as we were all bedding down to sleep, I happened to notice that we were bedding right on top of a snake, not a snake pit, but a nest, and that at night they would be coming out in order to feast and could possibly bite, attack, and harm the retinue. So I found that out and told the queen, and we were able to move and be safe, and we ended up eating snake that night.
So once again, you are doing your job as royal protector.
Again.
Sarah, you saw the queen do something terrible to keep the retinue safe. What was it? Did you come to respect her more or less afterwards?
You know, it's the most I've ever liked her. Watching her do what absolutely needed to be done. We were passing through a town, and things, people who have been more hurt by this war. And when the people came out to, well, things looked like maybe they were going to get violent. And well, there's only 6 of us on this trip, as strong as we all might be together. And the queen, she used words like weapons. And we were able to pass through without any blood spilling. I was impressed.
Words can also be terrible. They aren't always used kindly or nicely. Seth. The queen is responsible for the death of someone you loved. Who? What happened?
She had my predecessor executed. My predecessor, from what I understand, at least, I only ever got to know the one side of the story, really. Apparently, she was not well liked in court or by the queen. The queen made a judgment call that was based on some information that may or may not have been true. And so I have my job.
At a cost. Abby. What do you do for the queen that anyone else can do? And why does she make you do it?
Anyone else can do, but she makes me do it. Okay.
Yes.
I don't know. So I'm gonna pass to Caitlin because I'm not coming up with anything.
Fair. Governess.
She asked me to read to her sometimes when she's having difficulty sleeping at night. She says I have a good literary voice.
I would hope so. You are assisting in the training and studies of her family. And yet, there are plenty of people in the court that have a lovely voice. But, it's you. Probably has led to several disappointing nights.
Oh, yeah.
Abby. There is a false rumor about you and the queen back at the royal court. What is it? And how did it start?
Oh, interesting.
Our little bookworm.
There's a false rumor about us. I think the rumor is that she asks me to alter the history of the kingdom, the common history that everyone knows that I'm the keeper of. I think the court whispers about her influencing my writings. Probably started by someone who is trying to undermine the people's faith in her.
Because history is written by those that win. It would only further the rumor if peace is made. Gonah. The queen knows something about you that no one else does. What is it?
She knows that I have a family outside of court. She knows that I am actually married to someone. And she knows that those are the initials that are on my blade, are the person to whom I am married and our kid. And that they are why I fight and why I need to be free.
So there is one good thing if you no longer have to protect the queen. Protecting someone else instead of your liege. A good balance. Sarah. You're getting all the vindictive questions. Wow. When did you know you would never forgive the queen and why?
At first, I thought in her earliest days, I thought her ability to take decisive action based off of not much information, the ability to move forward was a good thing. But over time, as I saw her work, I realized that she acted too quickly and often didn't have enough information. And I don't often feel bad about what I do. I'm good at it and it serves a purpose. But killing the old astrologer, that will sit with me forever. They shouldn't have been killed.
I'm sure she had her reasons, but we'll never know other than what the story that she tells. Seth. The queen touched you once. What about the memory of that will stay with you forever?
I have to pass this question to Caitlin. I am honor bound.
You can't. You have to pass it to
Yep.
Abby.
Yep. Nope. Caitlin.
Just whoever's next.
Caitlin. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Honor bound.
Can you specify how the question was phrased one more time?
The queen touched you, comma, once. Mm-hmm. What about the memory of that will stay with you forever?
I mean, everyone knows the answer to this, I feel. There was... So our relationship, while it has been questionably romantic, has not been physical. Possibly because she's just too busy, because she's not interested in taking it to that level, etc. Except there was one night when she had asked me to come read to her. And as I was finishing, taking my leave, she kissed me on the cheek. And that was all.
And the final question for Seth, because you passed. What did you bring with you that endangers the queen?
My job often puts me in precarious situations. I have to find balance between the will of the stars and the will of that whom I serve on this realm, my employer, my liege. There are often moments where I question which one I put first, but after finding out the truth of my predecessor's death, it became clear that I am truly an instrument of the stars. I am an instrument of the gods. And it is not my question to answer or to question their will, no matter how I feel about the queen. I brought along with me knowledge of the plot.
So you already know what's going to happen and how this tale is going to end.
I do.
Whether that is for good or for ill. As the five of you are traveling, like commoners with horses and this very motley crew of an astrologer, historian, a botanist, protector, and governess across the countryside to this once ally. The queen is under attack. And feel free to go into as much detail before you give me your answer. But Abby, do you defend your queen?
She is not my queen. I don't defend her.
Caitlin, do you defend your queen?
I am not trained in fighting. I do not know much of how to protect someone, so I do what I can, which is putting myself in between the queen and anything coming towards her.
Gonah, do you defend the queen?
As I see that there is an ambush coming, I draw both of my swords and look around and try to see who I need to protect and who I know can protect themselves and who is going to run. And I protect my queen.
Sarah, do you protect your queen?
I am just a humble botanist. I don't have swords or fancy words to de-escalate or cut through a situation. And I'm tired of watching this queen not live up to what I wanted her to. I do not defend her.
And last, the one who already knows the outcome of all of this, that has read it in the stars. Do you defend your queen, Seth?
I think I know the signs of the ambush. I knew what to look out for. I knew what to hear. I've gotten the information from the person who organized it. As soon as I hear the rustling in the leaves, I turn my back and I do not defend my queen.
As you hear the rustling of the ambush amongst the trees and the bushes, having already known through Abby, who orchestrated this ambush and knew that it was coming, you do see both Abby and Sarah also either hide, maybe they're just a little too slow, pretending to help her, as Caitlin throws herself in front of the queen and Gonah's blades, engraved with her family's initials, defending the queen. but there are too many. They slash down any who do not run, including the queen. And that is the first game of 2 for the queen. We are going to take a quick...
job, everyone.
It was so good.
Oh, well done.
We're going to take a quick break. We're going to... so make sure you all hydrate, stretch, pet your pets, and we'll be back soon. The donate link is there. And remember, if you donate money, you can vote on who our second queen is going to be in this upcoming half, based off of a handful of adjectives. There's some really interesting and cool ones. You know what? Let me just show you the art of these super quick, because the art for this game is so dope. Like, oh, they're so cool. But we'll be back soon. So hydrate, stretch, pet your pets, and we'll be back soon, everybody. Bye. Hi, everybody. We are back from break and here for our second half of For the Queen. If you were not here for the first half to hear about the donation incentives for this game and what we're raising for, we're raising money for JDRF International, which is a leading organization in type 1 diabetes research. You can learn a bit more about the charity by putting !charity in chat. And for this game specifically, we have a couple of donation incentives, which you can see by putting !donate in chat. Our first one is, I have the cards for this game set up into 2 decks, regular questions and then spicy questions. So if you donate $15, you'll be able to have someone answer a question from the spicy deck. And for $20, you can allow another player to ask a different player their own question, not in either of the decks. And for $100, if you want to play this game, I'll run a game for you and some of your friends. That'll be open till the end of the campaign, so you don't have to do it today. We are back with our second game, some of us with costume changes, because extra. the dramaturges that they all are, it's fine. So, we're going to get started with the second round of For the Queen. And I will reveal the next queen, which for those in my group have already seen in the Discord. But for everyone in the audience, here is our queen. Step on me. All right, let us begin. Abby. Why are some others at the royal court jealous of your relationship with the queen?
Because most people at the court are noble born, and I am a commoner. And so it's very unlikely that she would choose me to be one of her favored.
All their fancy titles and their jewels and their, bits and bobs and servants don't seem to impress her, but there you are, taking the spots they desperately want. Caitlin. The queen gave you a compliment once. What was it, and why have her words stayed with you? Muted.
What?
I think you were muted.
I was?
I don't know.
Am I muted now?
Nope.
Okay, cool. The compliment that the queen gave me was that I am fitting in nicely. I am from a neighboring nation that was sent to this court as a kind of ambassador type situation. And it has stayed with me because that was what I was sent here to do, was to fit in, make inroads, make some connections, and I am doing that.
And you must have made a really good impression, because now you are on your way to broker peace with another nation. Whether it's the same one you're from or a new one or a different one, we'll just have to see as the game goes on. Gonah, what makes the queen beautiful in your eyes?
To me, the queen absolutely embodies that mystery and mystique. Even though she has courtiers around her constantly, almost none of us really know what she's thinking or what she's planning or plotting. And that mystery is intriguing to me.
There is beauty in something you just don't know. Sarah, what part of this journey will be the most difficult, and how do you pull the rest of the retinue through it?
Back at the castle, I'm able to spend time with the queen, just us. But while we're here on the road with all of these eyes and all of these people watching, we can't do that. But it's still important to be able to connect, not just with her, but with all of these people. And so over the course of this journey, I make specific time for us to put aside our jobs and put aside this mission that we're on so that we can share a meal and enjoy tea and be together as a group, because I suppose that's the next best thing.
You have to make the time. That is going to have the most meaning at this point. Seth, you think of someone in this retinue as the queen's favorite. Who? And what makes you think this?
I'm pretty sure that it's Sarah. Just the way that my mom acts around her compared to the way she acts around everybody else. It's obvious. I don't know who she thinks she's fooling. Gross.
Yeah, that is a little weird to think about your mom. Yeah, I get it. I really get it. Abby, you suspect this journey isn't just about diplomatic negotiations. What else do you believe is going on and why?
I think that it is about the queen teaching Seth about ruling. I think this trip is about prepping Seth for the throne.
I only know a little bit about the heir so far, but something does tell me that there's still a lot of growing into the position that needs to be done. So it's a good thing to do. Learn and lead by example. Maybe it will sink in. Caitlin, the queens sometimes show interest in your personal life. How do you respond to that? Why?
On what aspects of my personal life? There are things about my life back home when the queen asked that I'm more than willing to share. Obviously, there's a bit of a distinction between how I, as the daughter of rulers, was raised versus how the current heir comports herself. But there are things about my personal life here at court that I don't feel she should know. So I tend to avoid conversations about certain connections that I may or may not have made.
Do you think the queen is mixing up being a nosy busybody versus her queenly duties?
I think it's a little bit of both.
I'm gonna do a little bit of shuffling. You got this question last time, Gonah. Like, I swear I shuffled, and it's not stacked. I promise.
Sure.
Yeah, I know. How stacked is the deck? Okay, here we go. Gonah, you have a personal connection to the land you are currently traveling through. What makes you want to stay, and why don't you?
So I I very much enjoy the land in general. I grew up more amongst the people as kind of an emissary, going out and gathering the information of how the people are doing. I didn't grow up in castles as much, and so walking around out here feels so much more at home and so much more comfortable to me than hanging out in the castle with a bunch of busybodies.
Sarah, there is part of you that does not want peace in this land. Why are you attached to the war?
I mean, we all know one of the main ways that peace is brokered. People from different nations marry, they get together, they strengthen the ties between their countries by strengthening personal ones. I can't bear to see the queen with anyone else.
So if the war continues, then at least you know she'll still be emotionally available. Seth, how does the queen remind you of her status while on the journey, oh heir?
I mean, how doesn't she really? The way that she talks to me is not like she talks to any other adult in the group. It's always little things that she wants done and never anything important. It's, oh, don't forget to make sure that all the dishes are clean for our guests. It's never anything that could actually benefit me as the next ruler.
Just simple reminders that you technically already know. Abby, the queen had you punished once. What about the memory of that will stay with you forever? I love this question.
Um, it the punishment will stay with me because it was unexpected. I expected, given how she looks and her scary aura that she always has around her, I expected physical punishment, but it was more of that disappointment that you feel from a parent. And that leaves different kind of scars.
Usually the non-physical punishments are worse than the physical ones, especially if they are from someone that you look up to. Caitlin, the queen trusts you, but no one in the royal else in the royal court does. Why?
Because I'm an outsider. Because I was sent to be a presence to help broker this peace, whatever that means, whatever I need to do or agree to make that happen. But no one's really sure what my motivations are. or what I would be willing to do to make that peace happen.
Could it also be because you're still very new here and they haven't had the time yet?
Oh, definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah. I haven't been with the court for very long before we went on the move. So no one's really sure what my deal is.
Which makes sense now that there's suspicion on you because you weren't here long and now you're being asked to go with the queen on a very important mission.
Maybe she just wants to keep an eye on me.
Gonah. I drew the same card as earlier. It's going back in the deck. It's fine.
I don't know. It really wants to ask me. And I had gotten the previous question in the last game too. So
Okay.
like, it's fine. It's okay.
Right. Okay. Well, I already drew the next card, so it's fine.
Okay.
You sometimes think you might be the queen's favorite. Why? And why does that worry you?
So whenever the possibility that I could be the queen's favorite comes up, I know that if that favor were to take root and were to become manifested, the queen would want me by her side all the time. And I'm really not about that life. I love to travel. I love to meet new people. I love to be out and amongst the commoners. I don't want to stay with the queen. And she's cool and all, but that's not the life that I want.
You want independence.
I want independence. She can come travel with me. I don't think she'd like it very much. There's no silk satin sheets, but it's my life.
Sarah, why do you think the queen trusts you enough to bring you on this journey?
We grew up together. I'm a minor noble. Noble's a kind word. My family, we're merchants who did well enough to be able to angle for a position in court and then keep it for long enough for people to forget where we came from, and long enough that we can start calling ourselves nobles. And I've known the queen for a really long time, and we've been there for each other through a lot. I hope she continues to think that I'll be there for her.
I'm sure this relationship makes some people uncomfortable. Seth. Oh. When was the last time the queen hurt you?
I mean, this morning at breakfast.
When the queen really hurt you?
It was when she told me that I would be coming on this trip. I got very excited because I thought, oh, hey, this is actually going to be important. Maybe we can bond. Maybe I can actually learn something about this job that I'm almost guaranteed to have at some point. And she, as she was leaving the room, she says, well, how else am I going to keep an eye on you?
I knew it was going there, and yet, oh, my heart. There seems like there's no trust at all. Abby. You also got this question last time. Unless you want me to say it. Yes.
Oh, whatever. You know.
Okay. Different character. Okay. I'll stop doing this. What do you do for the queen that no one else can do?
Let's see. I'm the court artist. And so I have control over how she is depicted. And with, a populace where some people are educated and some aren't, pictures speak louder than words. So I really control how people see her outside the castle.
So this lovely portrait that we're looking at was made by you. Oh. Did you hear me? Everyone froze for a second. Okay. Oh, did Abby freeze?
Oh,
I
I'm coming
can-
back.
You
I
coming
can
back?
still hear people, but I
There you
can't
go.
see anyone.
Hello? Are we all
Okay.
here?
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Yes.
Live.
Okay,
Yay.
we're back.
Okay. Okay, cool.
So Abby, this lovely piece of art that we're using and looking at of the Queen was made by you.
Of course.
I'm sure there's a reason why she asked you to paint it like this. And how many of our retinue have seen what she really looks like? Caitlin, the Queen thinks more highly of you than you do of yourself. How do you know this?
This is my first sort of diplomatic mission. And I wasn't told much beyond just like make connections and be a useful presence. So I have very little idea of what I'm actually doing. But the Queen seems to think that I am doing a good job. So I appear to be faking it rather well.
That was pretty harsh. Just what a vague, way to tell you to do things.
Just go there, be nice, get them to like you.
Yeah. Gonah, what brings out the Queen's cruelty?
I feel like the easier question is what doesn't bring out the Queen's cruelty. But honestly, not doing what she asks to the extent that she wishes it to be done. She is very controlling, and as such, she expects everyone, everything to move at her whim, as though we are all her fingers and hands. And that's simply not what we are. We're people. So we see her cruelty often.
A huge strength of personality, to put it in the kindest way. Sarah, who is this distant power you are traveling to, and why do they make you uneasy?
I'd actually be more curious how Seth responds to this.
I mean, to be honest, I didn't really pay that much attention. But I feel like they were somebody who we used to have a really good trade agreement with. Like maybe they had like really great spices or something. I know that we were allies in a distant, like in a war a long time ago, but we haven't been in a war for a long time since. So I don't know why we need them so bad. It's weird because I feel like by this time at this point in our history, we are basically self-sufficient. We're basically like the ones who kind of call the shots in the politics realm. Why are we going out of our way and bringing all these important people to one spot to try and get them to make sure that they're still our friends? I don't get it.
Why couldn't you have them come to your place?
Exactly.
Why do you
Doesn't
need to
make
travel?
sense.
Okay, back to Sarah. What is something you do for the royal family that has prepared you well for this journey?
My family, we're really good at acquiring things. We trade. We have stores kind of everywhere. We have a hand in a lot of the networks that run throughout our country and into other ones where we're able to move shipments. And Well, shipping lanes are supply lines, and you need supply lines to get to soldiers. And so I know a lot more about this war than people would ever think I do. I help her figure out where to move troops and when, and what they need when they get there.
Merchants have their hands in a lot of pies. Sometimes that is physical objects, and sometimes it's information because you just happen to be around. Abby. You are considered ugly by almost everyone you meet. How does the queen make you question that perception?
Because she told me to do a self-portrait once.
Oh, and how'd that make you feel?
I mean, you know, it's not really my job. Like, I don't know why she asked me to, but I did as I was told.
Do you like how it came out?
Mostly, it was a lot of time spent staring at myself in the mirror, so it was uncomfortable, but I think it turned out well.
Maybe you learned something. Caitlin, when was the last time the queen showed you real kindness? This queen who exhibits cruelty at the drop of a hat, apparently.
Probably when I first arrived. I didn't know anyone. I wasn't sure precisely what I was supposed to do. And I, kind of just showed up and was there, and she went out of her way to welcome me, make sure I was comfortable, make sure I knew, who my attendants were and where I could go for things, and made it less weird that this random princess from another country was in her house.
I'm sure another reason as to why so many people do not like you in court.
Probably.
Gonah, what makes the queen ugly in your eyes?
To me, the beauty of a country is seen through its people. And I don't know that the queen has ever talked to someone outside of her walls. And that lack of knowledge, that lack of understanding your people is ugly to me.
How are you supposed to rule a country if you don't know what your country's all about? Sarah, you are considered beautiful by everyone, almost everyone you meet. How does the queen make you question that perception? Oh, childhood friend.
People have this look in their eyes when they see me. Perhaps it's a little bit starry, and perhaps there's a little bit of admiration, or at least I know that look, and I'm used to getting it from a certain number of people, but the queen has never looked at me like that. She's never looked at me with those starry eyes, or made me feel like I'm the only one or thing on her mind, even though that's how I look at her.
She has a lot of people to look after. Her heir, for one. Seth, what brings out the queen's kindness?
if there's ever and like a personal problem that's real important, I don't mean something small. I mean, hey, this thing is going on and this is going to change me forever. She can be extremely selfless. She can be the type of person that will put everything on the line to make sure that you get what you need in that moment. Does it happen often? No. But sometimes to me, I think that that makes those moments all the more genuine.
Not as heartless and cruel as we originally thought. Abby, court artist, what did you bring with you to protect the queen?
I know that I don't understand the politics and a lot of the, um, machinations and stuff that are going on. So my focus is on, yeah, this music outside for me. It's great. So I focused on uh, companionship, I suppose is the word. Trying to be one of the only people in her life that isn't trying to get something from her.
So protecting her from the unfortunate people who want to use her, or at least giving her the comfort that happens when it does happen for uses. Caitlin, what do you usually do for the royal family? Why does that make you an unlikely choice for this journey? Especially since you are from another country.
Yeah. I actually kind of want to hear what Gonah has for this question.
So, I mean, normally all I am is I'm a voice of the people, as it were. I tell the court where there are issues, where there's a supply and demand for the merchants, where there are tragedies for the people, and sometimes I will also put bugs in the ears of those people who, hey, just so you know, if something doesn't happen soon, you are going to have an uprising. You will have a considerable space between your head and your shoulders. And I've been doing that for the royal family for years now. If it weren't for me, I don't know that this kingdom would be as together as it is now.
Even with the merchant friend helping, and this lovely new princess from another kingdom trying to make peace and play nice. If without you, this kingdom would already be gone, and maybe she would already be dead, and then Seth would be on the throne and something would be different. Sarah, no, this is going back to Caitlin because you passed that question.
Yes.
What promise did the queen make to you before this journey, and do you think she'll keep it?
The queen promised my safety on this journey as an ambassador and a representative, that if I attended, that we would have safe passage to our destination and back again. And I think she intends to keep that promise, but I don't know that it's a promise that she can necessarily make.
That makes sense. Sarah, What do you do to disappoint the queen on this journey?
I would love to hear Seth answer that question.
Okay, but like, I want to hear your answer. You got dice, I'll roll for it.
Okay. Evens, you, odds me.
All right, let's go.
Who's rolling?
That was a nat 1.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Diplomatic resolution.
I found a moment alone with her. It was hard. It didn't come as soon as I wanted it to in this journey. I had to wait until, no one could watch as I slipped away to go and find her and find us for the first time in what felt like forever. And I know it was the wrong time to do this, but I told her how I feel about her, and she told me to go back to my tent.
There's a time and a place, and apparently this was neither the time nor the place. Seth, you saved the queen's life once. How?
On one of our last trips, there was somebody who was supposed to be, they thought they were being quite clever, and calling themselves an emissary from a neighboring land, came with an urgent message. And, long story short, I took a dagger for my mom. It was just the shoulder, it wasn't life-threatening or anything like that. But to be honest, I kind of don't let her live that down too often. And I don't know what else I have to do for this woman for her to realize that I'm capable.
You're a much better child than what she seems to think sometimes. Abby, the queen is not your queen. Why do you serve her anyway?
I serve her because of this once in a lifetime opportunity. Of course, it wasn't her, it was her people who found me. But because of her decisions, I am provided for. I get to live in a cool castle. I get to pursue my art. And she lets me do as I like on the side, and I will never have to worry for the rest of my life.
I know this is a serious game, but this brings me back to the tweet of like, when are rich people just gonna hire artist pets again and let them do their own thing?
Yep. Yep.
Bring back patrons.
Yes.
I just want to be one of the Dutch masters painting a table with a bunch of shit on it all day.
Hell yeah. It's the life. All right. That's the regular deck. Kate.
Time for a spice.
Wait, I have to start the spicy again?
Yes.
You can always pass
You can
the
do it.
question.
No, you'll be fine. You got this.
It'll be fine. When did you know you were in love with the queen?
I am going to pass it because I got this one last time.
Okay.
And I don't want to have the same character choices.
Okay, that's fair. Gonah.
I need to know exactly what happened to Sarah, so I'm gonna pass it.
Fair.
The truth is I can't remember a moment when I wasn't in love with her. She knows what she wants. She loves the people around her in her own way. People think she's so severe and scary, but it's so much of that's just a wall, a farce. It's the job she has to do, and I just always wanted to be there as someone she didn't have to be that way around. I've always and will always love her.
Doubling back to Caitlin. You arranged for the queen to be ambushed on this journey. What did they offer you?
Oh, that's perfection. I was told as I started my journey to this court that my job was to ingratiate myself, see what could be possible, if alliances could be made. If it did not seem like the alliance would be advantageous for my country, then having made that decision, my job was to ally with the other side. And I have done that.
But what did they offer you for this?
They offered protection for my country. They offered political advancement for my nation that I will someday rule.
All right. Now, the suspicions have been proven correct at the court. Not that anyone else knows, but... Gonah, what did you bring with you that endangers the queen?
As I've said, I have brought word to the courts. Those words have not always only been spoken. I have brought a ledger, a journal that has both my writings and the writings of others as to, let's call them the political sins of the queen. And these are things that anyone can assassinate a queen. It takes a lot more to bring a queen to justice. And I always have those papers on my person at all times.
Okay. Yes, as you said, anyone can try to assassinate a queen, but to hold them accountable and ruin them is something completely different, because they could still, if they're just killed, they can still look and be admired in the eyes of their people.
It's not hard to make a martyr out of a dead royal.
It is not. Ambitious, though. This is very ambitious. We're skipping Sarah because that was past. Oh. Seth. The queen is responsible for the death of someone you loved. Who? And what happened?
This country used to be ruled by a king. She thought she was doing what was best for the nation and what was best for its people politically. I guess I'll never really know that side of her brain, what she thought she was doing, because it ruined my life when she killed my dad. She she had him poisoned. And she came into power. And here we are.
Must have been close with your dad.
Yeah.
That sucks. And yet you still defend her.
She's my mom.
Abby. The queen touched you once. What about the memory of that will stay with you forever?
It was she was sitting for a portrait and afterwards came over to see the progress and stood behind me and put her hands on my shoulders. And she didn't say anything and just we both looked at the work together. And she left without a sound. But I felt, because she didn't say anything, that was the happiest I'd made her.
I have no clue what directions these defenses are gonna go with all these answers. Wow. Caitlin, the queen lights a fire in you. What is it?
By her kindness towards me, I take as an example of what not to do when I come to power. I see how cruel she is to those around her. I see how untrusting other people are of her moods and her favor. And I resolve not to be that way.
Fire does not always have to be passion or positive. I think you're going to make a good ruler.
I think so too.
Gonah, there's someone else in this retinue you love besides the queen. How and why are you keeping it a secret?
So, throughout the kingdom, I have found the portraitures of the queen and the court, and I am not an artist myself, but I started to absolutely fall in love with whomever it was that laid brush to canvas for all of these beautiful pieces, because even though I've been to court several times, having to visit, having to deal with all of these people, I could never pull out the beauty in them the way that this artist did. And it was during this trip that I learned that Abby was that artist.
Why are you keeping it a secret?
I'm waiting to see how the cards will stack, because on one hand, maybe she's just a really good artist and really wonderful at portraitures. On the other hand, maybe she is truly loyal to the queen, and I can't make the people suffer for what my heart wants.
Sarah, the queen knows something about you that no one else does. What is it?
The queen, she knows how scared I am of not being able to live up to these enormous shoes my parents have created for me. We just run lines through the country, but it's important that things get where they need to go. And I am so worried that I won't be able to step into that position when they retire or when they're no longer able to do the job. And she knows that I'm trying so hard to be good enough for her.
As we know, disappointment hurts, as we established earlier. Seth, you saw the queen do something terrible to keep the retinue safe. What was it? Did you come to respect her more or less afterwards?
This is a Gonah question, I think.
Well, this goes where we'll go. Technically, it goes in a circle unless everyone else passes.
Hell. Okay, fair.
So it goes to Abby.
Okay.
I will.
Fair enough.
I will agree to send it on. Yes.
Okay. Can I explain?
Yeah, why not? Go for it. Say it.
I think it would be interesting for her to have this as additional leverage.
Ooh.
In her little book.
Caitlin, are you pushing this question on?
Pass.
Okay.
Pass.
Okay.
So right now our retinue is 6, and it used to be 7.
Oh.
There was another queen who was supposed to join us, who in fact was a big part of our leverage for making this broker for peace happen. And the queen suspected that she was going to betray her, or that she was going to do something against her queendom. And so she ended up having her killed. I won't go into too many details, but all of us saw it. And apparently she trusted us to keep her secret. Whether that was for good or bad, I don't know. But it is all written down.
Did you come to respect her more or less afterwards? And since you all saw it, I want to hear the answer from everyone.
I came to respect her less because I very much believe in empirical evidence, and she was never able to bring anything hard, solid, and fast into what she was accusing this other person of.
Sarah?
A good queen does what she has to. I respect her more for the fact that she was willing to do something so... I mean, I didn't enjoy seeing it. I wish it didn't have to happen, but if she thinks it needed to, then it needed to.
I have everyone frozen for a second. Are we here?
There's too much drama. The Zoom can't handle it.
Okay. Okay, so let's quickly continue going around. Seth, did you respect her more or less?
I respected her more, and I'll tell you why. Because she did it herself.
Hell yeah. Abby?
Less, because it was so quick. It just seemed out of hand. It would have been just as easy to turn around and figure it out with some time.
And Caitlin?
More, in the sense that I was in league with that person, and have now gained additional respect for her as an adversary and the need to keep myself secret more.
The plots run deep.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Back to you, Seth. What do you do for the queen that anyone else can do, and why does she make you do it?
I think in those quiet moments, maybe just before bed, when everything that's been done throughout the day kind of returns to you and you're second guessing all those decisions, she could ask an advisor. She could ask someone else who is, I guess, under her employ for an opinion. Do you think this is the right choice? Do you think that how would you have handled it? She doesn't. She asks me. And when that happens, it kind of helps solidify for me that, she treats me a certain way in front of people, but when it's just the two of us, maybe she does see me as an heir.
It's a good learning experience, or maybe she just trusts you. Abby. There's a false rumor about you and the Queen back at the royal court. What is it and how did it start?
Oh, it's obviously that the two of us are sleeping together. I mean,
Of course.
I have no connection to the court. There's so many other artists to choose from. I'm just this random person that she picked out.
Totally sleeping your way to the top.
Yeah, we spend so much time for hours alone together as I work on art of her. And everyone says it's so obvious that they can see, through my depictions, how I feel about her. So that's what everyone says.
How rude. Maybe you're just good at your job. Seth's shaking her head no. Caitlin, when did you know you would never forgive the Queen and why?
Say that one more time. Sorry, my earbud was falling out.
When did you know you would never forgive the Queen and why?
I knew that I would never, excuse, what solidified in me the desire to betray the Queen, which I think is the closest I could get to forgiveness at this point, because she hasn't wronged me specifically, was watching her execute my co-conspirator. I mean, with valid reason, but she didn't actually know that there was a valid reason. The evidence was not solid. And watching how quick she was to that just solidified for me that this is not someone who should be ruling. That her judgment, while correct, was not backed up by actual evidence.
Maybe she was just trusting her gut. Gonah, you were summoned to a private meeting with the Queen once. Why did you feel disappointed afterwards?
Thought she was going to actually take me seriously for once. I thought she was going to listen to concerns. I thought that she was going to talk to me like a person. But instead, it ended up just being she wanted to hear what she wanted to hear. She would redirect the conversation anytime anything was negative or wasn't exactly as she wanted it. And also, it was somehow my fault. But nothing got done that day.
And last but not least, the final question for Sarah. What do you do that pleases the Queen on the journey?
She, as someone who wants things done in a very specific way, and as someone who demands a lot from people, when she told me to go back to my tent and keep it together because it wasn't the right time or place, I did. I didn't want to, because I'm so worried that if we don't do this now, we'll never get a chance to do it at all. But I kept it together, and I'll keep it together as long as I need to because she asked.
And whether by fate or, just how the way of the world works, you had to take that chance. The queen is under attack, everybody, as you make your way to this foreign power. Do you defend her? Abby?
Absolutely. I don't even think about it.
Caitlin?
Absolutely not. And as I'm walking away, I look over at the heir and just quietly say to them, you'd make a much better ruler. There's still a place for you if you want it. And I walk away.
Gonah?
So I look over at the artist and I hold on to the papers that are in my jacket, and I look at her and I say, you don't have to stay here. I can help defend you if you come with me. And I give her that chance to join me or no.
Nope.
And
I'm staying where I am.
And when she doesn't, I turn to the princess and look at the queen, and I turn to the princess and say, let's make sure that you are safe. And I try to help her. If she does not go with me, I still leave.
So we'll do you after everyone else. How about that?
Yeah.
Sarah?
There is no circumstance under which I don't stand beside or in front of or behind the queen. Really, whatever she asks, I'm there. I'm doing it. And even though I don't have any martial abilities, I did use some of my connections and wealth to make sure a couple of mercenaries were close by to help out if things went poorly, because I need her to have every single day she could possibly have. Because it's another day she might finally look at me the way she does in my dreams.
So that's a yes. Heir, Seth. Do you defend the queen, your mother?
I think that I'm watching this go down. I have two people saying what they've said to me on their way to either not do anything or decide what they're going to do. And at the end of the day, what I'm thinking of is what she has taught me. And what she has taught me is that sometimes what needs to be done needs to be done. And in the back of my head, I know that she made her bed and that these are the consequences of her actions. I know that this is not going to be the end of this country, because after she falls, I will be the one to take the throne. Maybe we can turn over something new for this country and do something different for the people and for our neighbors. But it can't happen under her. She's never let it happen.
So you do not.
So no.
No,
I don't.
When Seth makes her choice, I offer my hand and I try to protect the new queen as we flee from the barbarians or mercenaries or whatever. The ambush.
All right. Sarah and Abby both try and attempt to protect the queen. this intimidating figure that has made a lot of enemies, so to speak. But when these ambushers come upon you, she's not murdered right away. She just doesn't die right away. Instead, a little black book of deeds and misdemeanors that have detailed the queen throughout her rule comes to light, and she is immediately shamed and brought down and eventually executed, leading a new regime to come to power. All hail the new queen.
Yay!
All hail Seth. Oh, wow, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for this amazing game of For the Queen. This was so much fun. I want to play again. This was great.
Such a good game.
And as a reminder, if you want me to run a game for you, you can do that by donating to JDRF International. And I will run a game for you and some of your friends if you choose that tier. But yes, thank you everyone so much for joining us. We're going to go around, say, hey, hi, howdy, who we are, where you can find us, and all that other fun stuff. I'm going to let someone else go first. Let's go in the opposite direction this time. Let's start with Seth.
Well, hey, hi, howdy, everybody. My name is Seth. I use she and they pronouns. I need to turn off my background lo-fi so that I can hear myself think. I am very excited to be back into the realm of TTRPG actual plays. This is my first game since like before December that I've been able to be a part of in the streaming space. I'm very happy to be here. I could not have picked a better group of people to make my return with. I love you guys so much. I miss you guys every day. Other than this, I will be playing another game immediately after this over on Friends Who Roll Dice. We're playing No Bump in the Night, which is written by the inimitable Lexi. She is at Black Girl Mage on Twitter. If you don't follow her, you need to. We are going to be playing a box of toys that are protecting our kid from the things that do go bump in the night. I will be playing Mochi the Tamagotchi. So you want to be there. Go over to Forward after this is done. It's going to be a great time.
That starts at 5 Eastern, by
Starts
the way.
at 5 Eastern. I am super excited about it. Other than that, I am kind of just getting my shit together on a personal level. May get back to streaming a little bit more frequently, I don't know, but for the time being, if you find all of the stuff that I am involved in will be over on Twitter, which is at KillXJill. If you choose to follow, I would love to see you there. Otherwise, I'm going to pass it off to the next person. And thank you for having me.
Sarah.
Hello. I have and will continue to be Sarah, she, her. And it was so much fun to play this game for the first time with all of y'all, or first and then second time with all of y'all. I've got a couple of different stream games that I'm in on either a weekly or a bi-weekly basis that are super fun. The best way to kind of see what I'm up to or rather what I'm up to now and what I'll be up to in the future is just popping me a follow at Sarah L. Kinney on Twitter, and I'll, put updates there. Otherwise, have a wonderful day and pass it on to the next person.
Gonah.
Next queen.
Gonah.
Hi, I'm Gonah Hawking, and you can follow me on Twitch, Twitter, all of the good things. I'm a variety streamer who is like just trying to figure out her shit right now because with recent job changes, I have had to move like my streaming schedule, and it's kind of just at night when I can at this point. So yeah, if you would like to follow me there, that would be super cool. Same with Twitter, because I nuked my followers. Yeah, I don't actually have any like TTRPGs that I'm a part of right now. So, if you need someone like this in your TTRPG space, get a hold of me.
Caitlin.
Hello, I am Caitlin, aka a theaterphile all over the internet. She, her pronouns, please. I am a variety streamer and a TTRPG performer. I stream on Sunday afternoons and Wednesday evenings, mostly vintage and old console games. I'll be streaming at 3 p.m. Pacific today with more Ocarina of Time. And then I also stream Final Fantasy VII on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Pacific. I am also on a show called Strixhaven Curriculum of Wonder that is every other Thursday, 7 p.m. over at twitch.tv/themarconomicon. That is going to be this Thursday. So every other Thursday, but we do have one this week. Sarah is also on that show. It is super fun and great. If you like D&D Wizard School, check it out. I'm also going to be over on my friend Dax's channel. I think it's Daxara. Is it 19? I forget the number.
Daxara 19, yeah.
19 over on Twitch on April 2nd. We're raising money for the Parkinson's Foundation and playing Glitter Hearts. So definitely check that out. And then I also sometimes run tabletop games on my Twitch. We just did a one-shot of Necrobiotic, which is a recently kickstarted system that's super fun. That VOD is available on my channel right now. That's all of my things. Come say hi to me at 3 p.m. Pacific.
And Abby.
Hi, I'm Abby. You can find me over on Twitter at Aragorn's Girl. I post lots of pictures of my cat, and that's about the only constant content that I have. I don't have any other games coming up. I am just so thrilled to get to do one-shots every now and then. Thank you, Mare, for putting all this together and bringing this group back together. This was so much fun. Happy birthday.
Thank you. And I think that's just me. Hi, everybody. I am Mare. You can find me on Twitter at Archmage of Dice. So basically, this is game number 6, I think, of the whole streaming thing. The next game that's going to be up is this coming Wednesday, the 23rd, with a game of Fiasco run facilitated by at Fortavere. That starts at 7 p.m. Eastern time. It's going to be super good. They're on a road trip, and I can tell you right now, my partner is going to be playing a dad. So that's going to be full of dad jokes. If you don't like dad jokes, maybe just tune in and mute. I don't know. I am also part of Friends Who Roll Dice as a producer, and Friends Who Roll Dice is currently part of a quadlaboration stream along with Transplanar, Utopia, and Dicey Amazons. So we are running for the next couple days, basically through Monday. We're raising money for trans rights and Ukrainian relief. That's one of the games Seth is going to be in. That's starting at 5. That's part of this whole collab. And yeah, go check them out and everything right now, because we're trying to do real good work and it's coming out super, super well. So at that point, we are going to go raid Utopia, and then Utopia is going to raid Friends Who Roll Dice. So everyone go say hi to them, give some love and chat, and if you have the means, please support a really good cause. A lot of work went into this. So everybody have a lovely, lovely rest of your weekend, and we'll see you around. Bye.